Hey friends, this is Tig in with another reaction video, and today we're going to be doing a reaction on Doctor Who is Finally Dead, Let It Rest in Peace by the Critical Drinker. Now I think this guy is hilarious, man. I love his videos. I don't always do reaction to him, but I think this is an important subject because Doctor Who have been like failing over the years, okay? It started out strong with some really great actors, and then all of a sudden things got woke, and then they decided to start experimenting, and it just started getting terrible. People lost interest. I pretty much don't like that. I remember when they started up the Sci-Fi Channel, and I love sci-fi movies, okay? So I thought that was going to be something amazing, but the stuff they were putting out, man, just turned me off. Doesn't mean that I don't like sci-fi movies or superhero movies or Star Wars or anything like that. No, because there are good brands out there, good shows out there, good movies. But then most of the stuff they putting out, man, is just crap. And they're never gonna let this go, this woke stuff go. They never gonna do it. So if you think they are gonna ever stop doing this, they're not. They might improve in certain situations. Because the reason why I didn't do any real reactions yesterday, because I went to see Ballerina, okay? That was a good movie, man. That was a good movie. And it was a female lead, okay? She wasn't irritating. I'm talking about Ana de Armas. She wasn't irritating. She played a little bit of the girl boss, but not so much that it was irritating. You know what I mean? And she talking smack to people. And she did have a respect for John Wick, which is incredible. He was definitely in his prime during that movie. And I just wanted to take a day off and just go in and watch it because I haven't been to the movie theater in a while. So I wanted to go ahead and check it out. But right then and there, they really trying to push a lot of woman-centric type movies, okay? Putting women as the lead. I guess it's their way of saying that women need to catch up with men and things will get better. But somehow I get the feeling it won't get better because in order for them to grow, somehow they got to like destroy men in the process. And the guy that did John Wick, the director and the producer, they did not make John Wick look bad, which was great because that's normally the route they go. And she still looked good regardless. For some reason, Disney and MCU seem to can't figure that out for some freaking reason. I don't know what it is. But either case, that's the reason why I didn't do any reaction yesterday. I just wanted to take a day off and go see that movie. And I enjoyed it. Now I'm glad I went because a lot of movies that I went to the movie theater to see, I was highly disappointed. I felt like I was wasting my time and money. So, you know, I'm glad that didn't happen today, yesterday. And I also went out, to check out what's going on, to see the beaches, the bars, things of that sort. I just wanted to take a day off and enjoy my day, and I did. I really did. But I at least want to put out something today. So I came across this, and like I said, I like the Critical Drinker. He's just like Nerdrotic. They're very funny, but they're very accurate about the stuff that they talk about, okay, when it comes to movies and shows. So let's go ahead and get into this reaction. But before we do, please like, subscribe, and share this video. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. That way you know whenever we come out with new videos, okay? Alright, let's get with it.
And so, season 15 of Doctor Who came to an end a few days ago, not with a bang, but with the saddest and most pathetic of all whimpers. As Ncuti Gatwa's 15th Doctor went off to that big old police box in the sky, the BBC...
This is the thing, I never watched the show, I lost interest after a certain period of time. And because I started to get the feeling, I didn't know for sure that it was being woke, but I just started losing interest for some reason. I couldn't figure out why that reason was. This is before we started to realize what Hollywood was trying to do, what they were trying to portray, and I started to lose interest. So a lot of the stuff that they doing now, I don't know. A lot of the characters, I don't know. The storylines, I don't know. I don't know what they were trying to do with this, but I knew one thing: I didn't want to see it. Okay, so I don't know what they're gonna do after this. Are they gonna continue with Doctor Who? Because Disney don't like to let nothing go. Okay, they'll continue using it until it's really, really dead. Okay, and they feel like they can't make any money off of it. But I feel like that they still gonna try to figure out some kind of woke way to get this to go again. It just can't be with this particular actor.
BBC resorted to defrosting Billy Piper of all people in a last-minute desperate attempt to drum up something vaguely resembling interest in this desolate wasteland of a show. You know, kind of like what they did by bringing back David Tennant just to be humiliated and belittled by politically approved actors, only not as...
And this is the thing, I don't, as much as I like him as an actor and as much as I like them as Doctor Who, they all woke, all of them. You know, and it's not that they really believe in the stuff. It's the fact of the matter. They want to continue working. They want to continue to get paid. They want a virtue signal, all this kind of crap. And it's just a whole Hollywood crowd that want to do this, okay? So I don't respect them because of these reasons, okay? You know, he's a good actor and all that. But, you know, when you start finding out that their character is definitely in question, you start to kind of lose interest in watching any more of their shows or movies. It ain't like I hate them or anything like that. I don't hate none of them. It's the fact of the matter is, you know, I love the bliss of ignorance when it came down to a lot of these actors, you know, not knowing their personal lives, all the kind of stuff they believe in. And also the fact that they can't stand us. That's another thing too, right? They really, really hate us. And that's the shame part about the whole thing, right? And not that we can just disagree about, you know, the way the world works or whatever, right? They literally have to hate us for some reason.
Good or as interesting. And it capped off what was by far the most disastrously unpopular season in the show's entire 60-year history.
You would think they would know after a few filming a few episodes, like, this ain't gonna work. But you know, maybe they obligated from a contract's point of view or something that they had to complete it. And they also had the virtue signal because they couldn't just fire this dude, right, without it looking bad. But since a lot of these companies aren't doing woke anymore, they probably felt comfortable enough to get rid of this guy. But it's not just him. You know, we can blame this guy all day long, but it's not him. It's the people behind the scenes to doing all this crap. They're putting out all this woke crap that nobody want to see. I mean, nobody wants to see. Even the people that say they support it, they don't want to see this stuff.
History, with some of the lowest rated and least viewed episodes ever made, led by a doctor so universally insufferable that the actor himself bailed out after just 2 seasons. Jesus, even Jodie Whittaker managed to stick around for 3. Yeah, it was arguably 3 seasons longer than she actually deserved, but what the fuck, at least she made it to the end. I mean, I stopped actively participating in this show after the crime against humanity that was The Timeless Children. That episode was the breaking point for me. It destroyed any investment I ever had in this absolute calamity, and to be honest, that was probably a good thing. You'd be amazed.
It's not like these people can't, you know, put out something good, man. It's not like they can't do it. Because once in a while, they'll hit something really good, like Andor. But they do this mess on purpose, man. It's like, it's about destroying civilization, okay? And I've been watching a lot of videos lately about how all this stuff is really intended. They really want to destroy the way civilization is right now, make it into something God knows what it might be. But that's what they actively doing. You'd be like, why would they want to waste all this money and time and all this kind of crap on this stuff? But that's what it is. They want to deconstruct things and somehow create it in their own images. And they're all warped. They're all warped in the mind, man. Very warped. So you can imagine what kind of insane world that they're really trying to build.
Amazed how liberating it is when you just stop caring about something.
Yeah.
Ever since then, I've been watching the self-immolation of Doctor Who from a discreet distance with a kind of sad detachment, like watching a stranger's house burn down and you absolutely didn't have anything to do with starting the fire. Well, not that anyone can prove, at least. But the thing that amazes me about all of this is that the BBC actually expected anything different. I mean, how completely fucking out of touch do you have to be to think that you can spend years belittling, insulting, and lecturing the very people who watch your show and expect them to keep coming back for more?
Yeah, but they don't care. And this is the thing, the Democrats right now is trying to spend $20 million to try to figure out men. That sounds so insane. To figure out men, okay? They hate us so much that they feel like they got to get consultants to figure out men because they lost their mind so much that they really don't know what the other half of civilization is thinking, okay? It's crazy to even think about. And so when you think about this, that they need consultants just for that, it kind of shows you that you can understand why they missing the mark so much on their shows and movies. Because it seemed like they lost. And as a Christian, and I'm gonna throw this in there, God said He gonna let them how do you put it? Fall into their own sins and craziness. Is it reprobate or something like that? Reprobate mind. They're gonna just God gonna just let them do it. And they so deluded and so crazy that they don't realize what they're doing. That they not only destroying civilization, but they're destroying themselves. And it seems like they don't care. And so that's the reason why I believe they keep putting this crap out, man. In some kind of delusion, they think this is good when it's not. These people just lost their freaking minds, man.
What's that, you say? The villain this week is a straight white male who has to be put in his place by his ethnically and sexually diverse moral superiors? Well, colour me shocked, BBC. Where on earth do you come up with these incredible story ideas? I mean, why not throw in some anti-capitalist, anti-British, anti-family messages for good measure? I'm sure that'll help to ease the crippling guilt and self-loathing that creeps into the darkest corners of your minds when you're lying in bed in the small hours of the nights.
See, goodness knows. It's like they're not gonna stop. I don't care. They got access to YouTube just like everybody else, and they can easily, instead of spending all that money, which most likely they're gonna pocket that money, but instead of spending all that money on trying to figure out how men think or how these fans think, they can just go on YouTube and find out, just like I can. Okay, they don't want to know. They don't want to know. They just want to figure out how to lie to get what they want. And they'll keep putting this stuff out. It won't stop, man. I'm at this point now, I don't believe it'll ever stop. Unless they just run out of money or something and they just can't make anything else. Because like I say, these people in charge, these CEOs, they're supposed to be looking out for Disney and these other companies, just letting their companies die. And it sounds so insane, but God said He's just going to allow them to fall into their reprobate minds. You know what I mean? Today, so much sin and so much perversion that they can't see straight anymore. And because nothing else would make it's very difficult to say people lost their minds. They're insane. All these people at the same time? No, they so deep into their sins, man. They so deluded. And now they after this is over, they're just gonna figure out a different way to put out crap again. They'll do it in a way where they're trying to fool you and make it seem like. Cause that's why you see Kevin, what's his name, Kevin Feige, keep on saying, and Bob Iger too, keep on saying, oh yeah, we're gonna go back to how things were, go back to regular form, and they don't do it. As if we supposed to be fooled or something, and they keep doing it over and over and over again. And it's probably for the stockholders or whatever, man. But, they just lying through their teeth. And they not trying to improve on anything. Matter of fact, if they able, they're going to try to make it worse. And they're going to lose money and all this kind of stuff. And they're going to whine and complain and blame us for it. Like they always do. They don't got nothing to say because a lot of people liked Ballerina. But if they could, they'll say we're misogynistic. We hate that a woman was leading the movie or anything like that. But we ain't say anything like that. Most people that I've seen enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? And stuff. Doesn't mean we don't want to see men in action movies. No, it doesn't mean that. But we don't mind sometimes you have a woman lead. Who cares? Nobody cares except these people. And like I said, they're trying to destroy everything. That's why they keep doing it.
Darkest corners of your minds when you're lying in bed in the small hours of the nights. It's funny, you know, because even Disney at its worst doesn't openly despise its own audience quite as much as the BBC does.
Yeah.
It actually feels like this entire show was conceived and executed out of pure spite. They knew the audience hated it, and instead of trying to improve it, they decided to just hate their audience right back.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them.
Nice one, that'll definitely show them. And now that it's all over, the question on the minds of the literally dozens of Doctor Who fans still out there is, what happens next? Well, I can...
Nothing. They're just gonna find some woman or some minority or some gay person or whatever the situation is, and just do the same thing again, and then just do it even more spiteful. That's exactly what they're gonna do. I wish there were ways you could bet money on this. I'll bet so much money that they're gonna do the same crazy stuff. Their goal is not to change. That's not their goal anymore. You can just forget that. That's not their goal. Their goal is to destroy all these projects and to put out this propaganda, this stuff that support their propaganda. That's it. That's all this is for. I mean, a lot of people may argue that a lot TV shows and movies, that was the whole point of that, right? But you didn't see it. You didn't realize it. You thought it was just pure education or pure entertainment. I'm sorry. So now it's like, you know, it's propaganda, and you know this is exactly what they're doing. They're putting it in your face, and they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop. There might be some independent companies that can like avoid all this crap and just make their movies and shows, but they still going to squeeze in a little bit of this PC stuff. They still going to do it. You know, I just did a reaction to Alien Earth or something. Alien Earth, I think that's the name of it, right? And of course, they got a lead woman in it. She's going to be the star, of course. She's going to be lead, just like all the other movies. They're just throwing women in there now. Now, am I going to watch it? Yeah, I'm still watching it. It looks like it's going to be good, you know? So I can see past all that crap that they trying to pull, right? But not when they start, you know, start talking about misogynistic and I'm a girl boss and all this other goofy stuff that they like to squeeze in there and stuff. But they really trying to push it, you know? But like I say, man, men never had no issue with superhero women or women doing lead movies and roles. But you got to trash the men, make them always bad. And now we can't even be a lead in our movies anymore. And how's that going to help the young men? But the point is to destroy the minds of young men. That's the point. But that's my opinion.
I can tell you one thing for free, Billy Piper ain't gonna be leading this show. According to a long-time leaker known only as Andrew, an insider who made it his personal mission to spoil every aspect of this season, fucking legend, Piper's inclusion was a last-minute decision on the part of Russell T Davies with no real plan of how she'd be used or where they intended to go with her. Stunt casting, if you will. And she only did it as a personal favour, not because she actually wanted to come back or anything.
That's terrible, man.
Disney aren't likely to pay for more of this stuff either, because you can only steal so much money from the British taxpayer to finance your dogshit prop.
They don't have any money. It's like the people that support this crap aren't the rich. Because the rich probably don't even watch this stuff. It's the regular people. And the regular people in UK or whatever probably broke at this point. They probably ain't trying to put no money out, see this crap. They don't want to watch it. They're probably too busy trying to feed their families or something like that, man. Europe, man, they're going through some hell, man, the way it looks. Like their freedoms and being taxed to death and all this kind of crap. Ain't that the reason why we left Europe in the first place? Well, the white people did. But either case, I'm just saying that they don't care about this crap. They're going through hell over there, and now they're still trying to push this propaganda. And they squeezing it over here with us, knowing we don't want to see this crap. So sometimes I'm starting to wonder if it's just for everybody else but us. But we just so happen to get Doctor Who. So it's just a spillover, some kind of situation. But either case, though, it's garbage.
Propaganda. I love paying my license fee, by the way. I love being legally compelled to let the British government take money from my bank account every month to pay for programming made by people who actively despise my very existence. The past 2 seasons have actually been propped up by a co-financing deal with Disney+. Unfortunately, unlike the weird crumbling relic of post-war socialist Britain that is the BBC, Disney are an actual business that have to make money from their investments, even if they're not particularly good at it these days, and a show that costs tens of millions of dollars with overnight ratings lower than most of my YouTube videos isn't likely to appeal to them. The reality...
This guy look like he don't have no expressions. They always get these black people that's always looking angry. I noticed that. They don't never get no real actors, black actors. And there are real black actors out there, but they never get those though. They always get the ones that can always get that angry look and be sarcastic and nasty and mean. That's it. And that's supposed to be cute. That's supposed to represent us. This is the way they look at us. We just walking around pissed off 24 hours a day. I hate it, man. I hate it.
Nobody's watching this show anymore, and so nobody's willing to pay for more of it. It's just a burned out husk of what it once was. All of its creative energy and fan goodwill has been used up now, and there's nothing left but apathy. And for guys like Russell and his champagne socialist chums at the BBC, well, I hope it was all worth it. I hope you guys slapped yourselves on the backs extra hard for this one, knowing that you've nuked a show with a 60-year legacy, knowing that you've stood upon the shoulders of giants and took a dump on them. The only logical choice now is to just let Doctor Who die, or at least put it to sleep for a good long while, preferably at least a decade. Let people start to miss it, if that's even possible at this point, and bring it back with a new generation of creatives at the helm. You know, people who actually care about making a fun family sci-fi show instead of a political cudgel to beat the unwashed masses over the head with. And again,
they're not going to do that though. That's unfortunate. They're just going to try to figure out a way to push their agenda. That's it. That's it. They dedicated. And they really, you know, I got to give it to them, though. They're really dedicated about this stuff. They're not going to let this stuff go. They're going to keep doing it. You know, they'll slow down a little bit to see if, you know, to try to make some of that money back and give us something halfway decent to watch. And then they're going to just stop doing it over again. They're not going to let it go. They're pretty much letting you know this is not something that you can look forward to. There's no silver lining. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. We're going to keep doing this until civilization no longer exists. This is how dedicated these people are. It's sad. It's really, really sad.
Guess that's my real point here. You could put this show on ice until fucking doomsday and it wouldn't make the slightest difference until the culture and mindset that inflicted this tidal wave of liquefied feces on the world is purged from the show. The obsession with identity and oppression, the constant pandering and lecturing, the hiring of people for what they are instead of what they can do, and the arrogant belief that it's everyone else who's the problem instead of the garbage that you're pumping out. Doctor Who has basically been dead for a long time now, and now that it seems to be actually over, maybe it's time to just let it rest in peace. Now, just before I bi-generate my way to the bottom of another whiskey bottle, I wanted to let you know about a little project I've been working on lately. You may have heard by now, but myself and a few other creators have partnered up with Rippaverse Comics to put together our own anthology series, Saints and Sinners. With 6 different stories ranging from action to intrigue to existential horror and over 100 pages long, it's a pretty neat compilation of diverse works from different authors, and it's rapidly closing in on 10,000 copies sold already.
Damn.
It comes with a bunch of variant covers that you can choose from, and naturally, mine is the coolest. So if you're interested in taking a look, the link is in the description.
Yeah, that's the only way that we're going to get past it. It's going to be some independent people making movies, comic books, or what have you. And, you know, if they don't want to make it for us, we'll make it ourselves. Just like a lot of these YouTubers now and the people that go to news. I generally go to news to people with people on YouTube. I rarely watch mainstream media. I watch Fox more than anything else, but a lot of the times I get most of my stuff off YouTube. But that's the only way we're gonna get around it, is to make our own stuff, because Hollywood ain't trying to do it, man. They trying to make a bunch of perverted, crazy stuff that nobody want to watch, but they don't care. They're gonna keep making it regardless, and they're gonna try to figure out a way. If they can't get us to watch their stuff, they're gonna figure out a way to take the money. I really believe that. They're going to be like, look, these people don't want to see this crap we putting out. So let's figure out a way, just like BBC right now, the situation with Trump, he's trying to stop them from getting government money, okay? Because they pumping out the same crazy mess like a lot of these media are doing, and they taking our money and spending it on this crap. And I think Trump is trying to stop it, I believe. And they probably going to want to do the same thing when it comes down to these movies and shows. They probably like, look, we don't care if y'all like it or not. This is what we make it. But yet we need y'all money. So what we're going to do when we get into power, we're going to force y'all to pay for it. I think this is the goal of what they want. You know, they Marxist type people, man. They want us to pay for all the crap that they want to do themselves. and make us watch. You know what I mean? So it's a crazy world we're living in right now. It's a crazy world. But God said that this stuff was going to happen, man. God said this stuff is going to happen. These are children of the devil. They don't care about nobody else but themselves. And they so deluded. I mentioned the $20 million how to figure out men. How insane is that? But this is what these people are, man. This is what these people are. And they're not going to stop. As long as there's evil in the world, they're going to ride it. They're going to ride it to the end. All right, but I don't want to get too depressing, okay? But I do appreciate all of you coming by. Thanks again. This is Tea and Peace.